You listen to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Oh, beautiful, man.
Woo! Episode 214. Blah. My bad. I'm on that cowboy hat. 114, right?
Yes.
I had 100. Episode 114. Kenny Johnson coming to you with my co-host Matthew Wells, as always, holding it down in Dallas, Texas. Fresh off the Cowboys. Destruction of the Giants. Cap off the weekend, that is all MMA, as we saw Habib doing Habib things at UFC 242. And we also had a Bellator that had a little bit of controversy, but I let Matt describe that because I'm anti-Bellator. I take that back. I'm not anti-nothing. I just don't watch them. And, coming to you as usual, 3 for the price of 1. We have WBC super middleweight champion Anthony Dirrell. We had his opponent on last week. We have him. We get both sides of the story. He'll be taking on David Benavidez at the co-main event of the Sean Porter Earl Spence fight, September 28th, Staples Center. Yours truly will be there ringside. Have the best female journalist in the game, Miss Karyn Bryant, that's now official UFC anchor and trainer of Earl Spence Jr., one of the best trainers in MMA, boxing, combat sports, period. Mr. Derrick James coming to you. Man, we got an action-packed show as always. We locked and loaded here in the Slip and Dip, doing Slip and Dip things.
100%, man. Fantastic show coming your way, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Give us a thumbs up on the video as well. If you're watching on YouTube, we would appreciate it. Yeah, man, fantastic show. But before we get into these great chats with our guests, let's talk a little bit about what happened this weekend. Obviously, the biggest show of the weekend, UFC 242. Right, there's a number that starts with a 2 officially, right there. Habib Nurmagomedov, Dustin Poirier, and yeah, this went about as I expected it to actually go down.
I thought it was gonna go to distance. I was kind of disappointed it go to distance, but I'm not surprised that Habib won.
Yeah, Habib did Habib things, and you know he just went out there and mauled Dustin Poirier. I mean, the first round he
broke him down mentally and physically.
started breaking him down, and then just kept breaking him down. And at the end of the day, what we see here is Habib with that title still around his waist. I thought it was pretty cool how they exchanged shirts at the end.
Yeah.
Do a little jersey swap action. That was kind of dope. We don't ever really see that in MMA. But it's also very rare that we see guys with their own custom official Reebok shirts too. So
both champions.
Yeah.
But the 2 things I took away, I'll get to the sportsmanship side of it, but the actual fight side, Dustin Poirier, if you want to tell how to defend all the stuff that Habib does, his counters, he did it by the book for 2.5 rounds, and it didn't mean shit. That's how good that man is. If you try to, hey, you gotta do this when you get some beat. You gotta do that. He did everything you were supposed to do and some. Reversed it. Even put a choke on Habib. It didn't mean nothing in the big scheme of things.
Yep.
So that just subscribes to my theory. If you're gonna beat this man, you need to be borderline crazy and take chances. Because if you don't got no cojones to take chances, you just be another victim.
yeah, you need to be crazy. You need to be Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson style. And then it was cool with the jerseys and stuff for somebody who covers multiple sports, this the friendship and the camaraderie. But why do people make a big deal about MMA being based on camaraderie and respect when it's not a camaraderie and respect sport? That's not what these people are doing.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Okay, it's not normal to get in the cage and I gotta whoop this person, but I'm gonna be cool with them. That's not normal. But there's no way you can normalize that. And it's cool that they have respect, but when people don't, when you have a Habib and Conor situation or whoever getting into it, people say, "Oh, how dare they be doing that and insult each other?" That's what they do. This is survival of the fittest. Habib happens to be the most fittest of them right now, but I don't understand when people don't like each other or have the camaraderie that Habib and Dustin have. People have a big problem with that. That's not supposed to happen when you're trying to kill each other literally in a cage. That's not gonna be every time.
Well, yeah.
It's cool when you see it, but when it don't see it, don't flip out. Like a lot of people from, how dare they say all that? How dare he do all that? When it's part of the fight.
I see people flip out when guys go overboard.
Well, see the prime example. When Conor fought Eddie Alvarez, he damn near threw a chair at him and cussed him out and came in late, but he won the fight right then and there. I was there when he saw. I'm like, oh, we got Eddie Alvarez.
That was all promotion.
And promotion to Eddie Alvarez because it threw him off until he got knocked the hell out on Saturday. It was promotion to him. I was there. It's one of those things you see. It don't look like that big of a deal. He won the fight right then and there. He was angry the rest of the from Thursday to Saturday when he was looking up them nights at MSG. He was out of his game. So it's part of the fight game.
Of course it is.
But people get all up in arms when it's not like buddy like Khabib and
people
Dustin.
get up in arms when guys go overboard with it, like when Khabib jumps out of the cage and starts attacking Conor's corner. That's going overboard.
It's funny. He jumped out the cage again. Like he goes to hug Dana this time. Yeah. That was out. Yeah. It's like he had that planned out. When I win, when I go and do what I do, I'm gonna go ahead. That was tight right there. I like that.
People like fucking with Dana. Like people love to give Dana heart attacks, man. Like remember?
Yeah, Dana didn't know what to do at first.
Remember when John Jones and Anthony Johnson acted like they were going to swing.
Yeah, we were there.
I wasn't there. You were there. Yeah, that was hilarious. People love fucking Dana like that. That was great. That was great stuff. But yeah, man. Listen, one thing about the fight, just to go back to the fight itself for a little bit, is that people were talking about it. On the broadcast, they were talking about how hot it was. How hot it was in that arena. And here's that clip for people watching on TV about jumping out of the cage and going to Dana.
Badness at T.
They kept saying, they kept saying it felt like 125 degrees in the octagon. Yeah. That's insane, dude. That is insane. That had to have
how you train for that?
You can't. You cannot train for that. Like unless if you literally start doing rounds in a sauna, like it's crazy. We saw media members sitting cage side in
shorts and t-shirt,
white undershirts,
yeah,
white undershirts out there just sweating. Like, dude. This is one fight card I'm glad I did not have to attend if that was going to be the arena. Nah,
I ain't gonna lie. I would have looked at it from the coolness factor because I've covered boxing fights outside, so it definitely would. It just looked like it was in a tent. It's like, is this MF for secure? We know about the tent out in Las Vegas in the post fight. Any media person don't listen to this know what I'm talking about when you like, I may have to sue somebody if this thing fall on my head.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to Dustin though, man. Shout out to Dustin going up there, putting up a fight.
I felt bad. He looked broken in his fight interview with John. It's like he did everything he wanted to. He didn't do it as good as he wanted to, but it's like I think he at least thought he was going to go the distance. He's like, I might lose, but I'm going 25 minutes with this man. Yeah. I think he was more disappointed in that than his performance.
I don't think that's the case. I think the fact that he wanted to leave with that belt was the reason. I don't think he cared about how good it looked or how ugly it looked. I think he wanted to leave with that belt. But shout out to him, man. Still a good dude. Obviously, still a champion in many ways. He's working with Justin Wren doing the wells for the pygmies, and I donated to that cause. If you go to our Slip and Dip Facebook page, I shared the link there, so you guys can donate there as well. That would be pretty cool to help them out. Do that. Good cause. What these guys are doing. They get in there and fight. Scrap it out to earn money to support their families, but they also do good stuff like that as well outside the octagon.
It's crazy as Steve Wright told us, at least for him, if he doesn't ever get a title shot, if he never become a champion again, he'll be able to make money as a champion in the seminar circuit and all that because it makes that big a deal. I didn't even know that. I thought that was very enlightening that what Steve told us on how big a deal being a former UFC champion change your fortunes after the fact, or when you promote a cause, draws that much extra attention to it, or people take you more seriously. So props to him. I know things didn't go his way, but he has nothing to hold his head up for. I hope we see him again. He said I think that was just post-frustration talk. I'm pretty sure we'll see him again. Actually, we'll see him and Conor again because the first time I even really saw him fight was the Conor fight. I'm like, dude, you look like you kind of overmatched. So since that Conor fight, when he got his ass whooped to losing to Khabib, this dude's improved tremendously. And and he was more and more. He came closer to being Khabib than he did Conor.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that had that. I had this thing that I still kind of believe in, like this kind of theory that I believe in, that anybody that's fought Conor has excelled exponentially after they fought Conor. Look at Max Holloway. Max Holloway, the greatest featherweight of all time after he fought Conor. And then Dustin, who drastically transformed his game after moving up to 155, getting that title shot, obviously. but came up just a little bit short. But he still got a piece of that. He still got that interim belt. That's always going to be put on his resume. It's crazy. One other thing I do want to talk about on 242. Good fights throughout the card, but the only one we're going to talk about here before we move on to Bellator real quick. Co-main event: Edson Barboza and Paul Felder.
Boo decision.
Dude, the decision was terrible. Terrible, man. Listen, I picked...
Fight was boring. I'm about to check it out.
Fight wasn't boring to me. But the fact that two judges, like you see that comment right there at the bottom. 30-27? Yeah. Two judges gave Paul Felder every round?
Nah, I can't say
like,
that.
y'all are tripping. Paul Felder clearly lost that first round. You could say the second round was closer. Yeah. Paul won the third. But listen, 30-27 is an egregious scorecard. That is so terrible. So terrible. And two judges gave it 30-27.
I understand. You're 3,000% correct, but why get up in arms? It's going to happen again.
Judging, I will never not be critical of judging in this sport because it affects paychecks. So what? I don't care. I don't care if it happens again every fight. Every single time it happens this bad, I'm going to call it out because it's terrible. Because they're affecting paychecks. They're affecting lives of these fighters.
Yeah,
these fighters are on 50-50 contracts, and you go out there and take it away from a guy. Listen, I love Paul. And I picked him to win the fight. So, hey, for our picks, which I'm about to pull up.
I bet you won't change that, though.
No, I'm not going to change it. At the end of the day, it was the wrong decision. It's the wrong decision. It's the wrong decision at the end of the day. And listen.
Can't be from a sparkly record, but that's all right, though.
Yeah, man. It was terrible. Terrible, man. I feel for Edson Barboza because I was wrong leading up to the fight. I was like, man, I feel like he's in a spot where he's, kind of proved everything he's wanted to prove at this point. But he went out there, put his heart on the line once again. But two bad judges took it away from him. It's crazy.
It shows a little wrestling. Surprised me.
Yeah, showed us some wrestling. How about that? Edson Barboza with two takedowns in a fight. Like, what world is this? Two takedowns. Nice, clean double leg.
Yeah, but it was like rather easy.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. I'm trying to get this graphic pulled up. Freaking computer just almost crashed on me there. So yeah, so you guys can see where we were at after UFC 242, and it snapped to the wrong window. Come on now, my computer is tripping right now. Pow! All right, there we go. Had to get my mouse instead of my pen. But yeah, here are our picks and where we stand overall. The totals have not been updated at the bottom.
We 5-5.
Yeah, I'm 6-5. I'm 6-5 in 3 years. Yeah, we both picked Khabib. I had Paul, even though Paul should not have won that fight. Still love you, Paul. Shout out. You picked Islam. I picked Davi. Both had Curtis. Both had Diego. Both of those guys picked up dubs. You are 5-5. I am 6-5, above 500 at the end of the day.
And before we turn the page on 242, what do you think is up for Curtis? He did Curtis things. It's kind of weird. He's in a weird spot.
Shout out to Fortis MMA with Diego Ferreira.
Because it's like he's not really a title contender, but he's definitely not a gatekeeper. He's a legit contender, but it's like, what do you do with him next? Because look at this. If DC and Stipe go, it ties up the belt. We already know what happens when him and Francis fight. So what does he do?
That's the thing. He's definitely a title contender if Francis Ngannou's not in the picture. If there's some scenario where he can get to the title without having to go through Francis, then yeah. If Francis gets the belt and he becomes some clear number one contender again, or whatever, I don't know. Let's say Francis gets hurt, God forbid, and he can't make a fight, then that's how he gets his way in there. But as for who he fights next, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
It's like weird.
I think he might have to sit out and wait and see what happens for a little bit.
Yeah.
It might have to be one of those things.
Because we know if when Black Beast come back, he's not fighting a wrestler. Unless he get paid a certain amount of money.
He might. Why would he not want to fight a wrestler?
You already know. He's like, I just want to fight. He kind of sounds like Rampage.
Oh my God. DC's turning into Rampage. Wow. Speaking of Rampage and Bellator sort of things, let's talk a little bit about Bellator MMA.
The minor league circuit.
The minor league circuit. How dare you, sir? Their main event last night, 226 Bellator. Czech Congo, Ryan Bader. And this is what happens with Bellator fights all the damn time in their main events. They'll have a solid main event on paper, and then some shenanigans will happen. This fight, unfortunately, ended in an eye poke where Czech Congo gets dominated. Czech Congo's get dominated by Ryan Bader, as expected, as many expected. And then he gets poked in the eye close to the end of the first round, and then they have to call it a no contest, which sucks because Ryan Bader was well on his way to winning that, less from Chet Congo landing some knockout blow out of nowhere, which he's very capable of doing. So I don't want to say it couldn't happen. But just another event, or Bellator MMA, their main event ends up disappointing in a bad way. Far cry from 2 weeks ago where we had literally every fight on the card be a finish. Like, damn, Bellator does a fire card. And then you come back with this unfortunate incident in their main event. And then the crazy thing, shout out to Chris Cyborg. They brought Chris Cyborg out there last night and officially announcing her signing with Bellator. So she was there, all dolled up, for the crowd. One other thing, so Bellator still does post limbs. I don't know why Bellator does post limbs. Like for me, if you have a fight called the main event, that's the last thing you do. Everybody goes home after the main event. Not Bellator. Bellator says, hey, we have a main event. And while the media is in the back doing post-fight interviews, while Scott Coker's in the back doing post-fight interviews, we're going to have these things called the post-limbs.
Are they shown on TV or not?
No, they're shown on the app.
Oh. They have swing fights in boxing like that.
It's so stupid. I hate it. I know they had it out here at the after the.
But they're not shown on TV because they're like outside the window or whatever.
Yeah.
These fools still pop. They basically still put it on like it's a regular.
Like nobody's watching the fights. Nobody's watching the fights. Like why are you having fights and nobody's watching? But this happens. A little reminiscence of Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman. Snap.
Ooh. Ouch.
Sorry I didn't warn you guys out there if you're watching on YouTube.
He's done.
Yeah, that leg snapped just like Anderson Silva. Same moment. Same thing. It was nasty. He fell on it and fell backwards too. I'm not going to show that full clip, but just know it was nasty. Nasty. But yeah, we're going to get into it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. If you want to donate to the show, we got the Venmo links. We got the Cash App links in the description below. So show us some love that way. Hit subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, all that stuff. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes to help the visibility of the show. It's a free thing you can do to help us out. We would appreciate that. So we're going to get into these chats. Hope you guys enjoy. Anything else before we dip out?
Hey, 3 weeks for Porter Spence. Man, I'll talk about that next show. Got a crazy travel schedule. I'll be going coast to coast into September, early October, but it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, there it is. Enjoy the rest of the show, guys. Till next week. Peace.
Please welcome back to the Slip and Dip Podcast. The best female journalist in the MMA game today. One of the best female journalists in the world. She's a UFC anchor and knows everything MMA. Miss Karyn Bryant. How does it feel to be traveling all over the world doing what you love? Because you've been in like 3 or 4 countries in the last couple months.
Yeah, no, it's pretty great. Thank you for the intro. You're too kind. But yeah, no, it's been great. I, just got back from China, on the weekend. It was amazing. I got to be there when we crowned the first Chinese champion, you know what I mean? So, and I was sitting right next to the octagon when it happened, and it really was something incredible to see. Later this month, I'm going to Mexico City and I'm going to Denmark for the first show in Denmark. I can't wait. It's really great. Same thing in China when you're in a new in a new environment, right? A new city where they haven't had a show. I got to go to St. Petersburg. They'd never had it there. So that kind of thing is really great. It's actually been really great. I love actually all the travel I've gotten to do this year. It's been great.
Oh, why did you get to go to Dubai with all that craziness?
Well, you have to ask ESPN. I currently am not hired to work pay-per-view shows. They have John doing the pre and post shows for pay-per-view shows. They ask them.
Got you. Now, you kind of mentioned it, obviously being in the environment with China, right? Where you have a champion, her first title defense is in enemy territory, right? Which is kind of crazy because me personally, if I'm the champion, I want to go at least to a neutral site, if not home field, right? Especially for my first title defense. Isn't that kind of crazy to be like, hey, we're going to bring you all the way to China to fight the Chinese fighter in one of the very few shows we ever have in China?
World champion.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you. I don't think I would have done it personally. I would have looked for somewhere neutral. But, if you ask Jessica, to her point, Rose fought her in Brazil. So Rose went on the road to her title. She went to Brazil. She lost it to Jessica in Brazil. Rose gave up home field advantage and all that stuff too. Okay. So I think that was part of the reason that Jessica was okay with it. I mean, she knew, she definitely had some requests. I don't want to say demands, you know what I mean? But there were certain stipulations that I know she wanted contractually. Or also, like her friend Carol Hossa was on the card. I believe that was part of it, like to have, teammates and some sense of camaraderie there. So she wasn't just going all the way over there all by herself. But, she was cool with it. She's like, yeah, Rose did it for me. I'll do it. I feel confident. It doesn't really matter where it is. I mean, if you're the champ and you believe in yourself, it kind of shouldn't really matter where you fight. But, you kind of wonder, I guess, if it goes to the judges, what happens? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a strawweight reenactment of Amanda and Cyborg? That's the best way I can describe that fight. It's a strawweight reenactment. Would you say that? Reenactment.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't expect it. And literally when I was sitting there, I was watching the fight. I was sitting next to Mick, and I just literally one of the last things I said, I was like, I hope we get at least a round and a half. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to see them actually go for it, and I wanted to see both of those girls get a chance to kind of unload and show what they had. Of course, it didn't go that way, but it was crazy. But that's a funny way of phrasing it, a strawweight reenactment. I mean, man, Zhang Weili is yoked too. If you see Gun Show, my God, she, so and being there that close, I'm like, yeah, no, stay my friend. I'm going to be nice to her.
on a personal note, one of our high-profile people we have not got to get on, I want to see Joanna get her shot against her, because I think Rose is just a bad style thing, because if she's a two-time champion, she'll be the greatest, strawweight women's fighter of all time, because they'll be two-time champion and all those title defenses. I tell Matt, if it was that easy to defend the belt, somebody else besides her would have been in to defended it. That has not happened yet.
Yeah, no, Joanna was the queen for quite some time, and I think she's absolutely incredible. If she is able to become the champ again, then yeah, that would definitely give some credit to that argument for sure. I don't know though. For the Rose beat her twice, that's the hiccup in the argument, right?
Yeah. It's kind of tough to lose to one twice, but I mean, I guess everybody has
fights. That's a kryptonite.
Everybody has that one person.
But Rose beat a lot of very good women as well. I mean, I would say more like if Rose beat Zhang Weili than she. I don't know. I mean, I think also too that division is so new. We can't be in the GOAT conversation yet. It's like it's too early for the GOAT. You're going to have mile markers, and you're going to have greats, and you're going to have legacies created and stuff like that. But I think it's just a little too new to decide who's the GOAT of that division yet. There could definitely be the enforcer and stuff like that, though.
I got you on that, because that's why we send people with 135. The fact that Amanda is no question, because who she beat and how she beat them, because she needed those fights to get to that level. Like how she never fought Cyborg.
You can't deny Amanda.
No.
Why would you deny Amanda? Come on.
It's impossible to deny her that.
I already had her before she beat Holly, but now it's, you can't. There's any metric you look at, she ain't checked off the box.
You can't deny Amanda. You just can't. She already was amazing, and then the Cyborg thing was just a punctuation on it. Come on.
Sending people into retirement.
She's awesome.
My bad. Sending folks, not people. Folks into retirement.
Since you mentioned the name, what side of the argument do you fall on with Cyborg? Did she not want to fight her the second time, or could they not, or was it just negotiations with the money? What side of the argument?
I don't think she didn't want to fight her. I find it hard to believe that she didn't want to fight her. I don't know, but I wasn't there. I believe it's probably more that it was harder to come to terms and everything. It might have been, I don't want to fight her here, or I don't want to fight her on this day. But I don't know. I believe they wanted the rematch, but I wasn't in the room. I don't know, but I feel like she would want that rematch. It's just, again, it might be like, okay, yeah, you can have that fight next week. I was like, well, I don't want it next week. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what's your take on everything at UFC 242 with Habib doing Habib things?
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. What did I say after the first round? I think I just tweeted out that there was just some moderate mauling. It was mauling, but it wasn't, or whatever. Like, he's just incredible. I did think that Dustin had a legit shot. You know what I mean? I really did think that. And we saw him kind of pepper him a couple times. And we know the guillotine was close and stuff. So I definitely thought Dustin was a real live dog in this. But, as it went on, you could just see, like, it's just that Habib was just so good at what he did. Like, he's just so good at what he does. And, like, the whole thing, it's coming. You can't stop it. He's just phenomenal. He's incredible. Like, you can't, what are you going to say? He makes it look easy, and we know how high level, Dustin is. So, and it's not easy to beat Dustin. So, come on, the guy's amazing.
100%.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised.
No, me neither. And one of the things that I know Dustin's definitely not going to make excuses for how it unfolded, but I do wonder how much the heat played a factor into the fight. Because they were talking about, like, it feels like 125 degrees in the octagon. Like, that is insane.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And what did Bilal was saying something about, like, steam coming off of it, when he was walking down. Yeah, no, I actually did think that I think I even said that around the second round. I was like, Dustin looks sort of like he's not moving as quickly as usual. Like, I felt like his feet were moving a little slower than usual. And I literally said that, I thought maybe it was the heat that did that, because he's usually not like that, I don't understand, I guess, how it couldn't affect you. Add to that, like, an adrenaline dump, add to that, just whatever, all of it. The fact that you got Habib on you, like, there's no way you're not going to get tired soon. But I bet the heat was a real factor. I'd like to hear when people come back, or, just maybe hear more of the post stuff and see what they said. Because, I would think that would be a legitimate concern.
For sure. And I noticed it more so after, you mentioned the flurries of punches that he was throwing, like, he was peppering him a little bit. Like, normally we see Dustin do that over longer periods of time. And then all of a sudden he started doing, like, these lunging, like, one-punch strikes. So I was like, what is this? Like, it had to be a combination of, obviously, the wrestling and the heat, I would think, but I don't know. Yeah.
And then how tired are you trying to fight off? I mean, you're just tired fighting off Habib. I mean,
he looking broke. He looked broke to me after the second round. Like, he was frustrated, but it was like, I can't do nothing. Frustrated more than. That has to be soul crushing, like physically crushing and soul crushing, like.
You can't stop him. The guy's mastered this art from how long? You're never going to catch up, right? It's like, it's like he's done it. You can't learn in a short amount of time just what he knows over the course of his life. And I don't know. I feel like the only way he'll ever lose is, he gets just knocked out, just straight up knocked out sometime. I don't know.
That leads me to my next question, because you're a very positive person. Can you get us some good juju to get Tony in? I've been to two of the fights.
They gotta fight.
I was at the weight cut when Habib falls out and Kane fall, and I had flown to New York, and I get off the plane, I hear about Tony and the knee thing. So I've been there for two of the 4 cancellations, and then when I've been out there. So can we get him in the octagon?
I want that fight so bad. Yeah, let's get the tarot card, the whatever. Like, that fight needs to happen. It's the greatest fight that never happened, right? It just, all this, the that, the tiramisu, the back and forth, the build-up is, how many years now? How many years? How many times? Yeah, 4 times they tried to book it over. How many years? It has to happen. It absolutely has to happen. By the way, you're talking to, like, a huge El Kukui fan right here. So I think he's fantastic. Can't wait to see him fight again. Like, anytime, to me, Tony is like appointment viewing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't, to me, he is can't miss. Yeah. He's can't miss.
100%.
And that's the style that could be Habib, because he's good everywhere, but he's crazy, and he's going to take chances. The only way you can be somebody like a Habib, or on the female side of Valentina, is you have to take chances, or you better be bigger than them. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. 1 or 2.
Yeah, and Tony will take chances. We know that. I mean, he'll just start breakdancing in the middle, doing whatever he needs to do. He'll definitely take chances. Great scrambles. He could stuff some takedowns, slip into darts. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that could happen. Or Habib could just Habib him.
That's true. That is true.
I don't know. I want to see it, though. I don't know what's going to happen, but I definitely want to see it.
Yeah, it was concerning for me when, in the post-fight, when Dana was like, if he doesn't want it for whatever reason, I'm not opposed to Conor. Like, what? Why are we trying to throw Conor in there again? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, people would like to see it. I mean, people just want to see Conor fight, right? Like, it kind of doesn't matter who. Just please show up and fight soon. But it has to be Tony.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not entertaining anything other than Tony in my mind.
100%. 100%. Yeah, when I heard the word rematch,
not hearing it.
When I heard the word rematch and Conor McGregor coming out of this fight, I was hoping people were talking about Dustin and not against Khabib.
Oh,
because that fight would be very interesting right now. I think if Dustin and Conor ran it back right now, I think that'd be pretty good fight. That'd
be entertaining. Yeah.
KB, do you think people are slipping in a journalist game that's MMA? Nobody's talking about the fact that Conor, I can't tell you I know this, but Conor has to fight 2 fights. He's fighting one, the B fight, to basically pay off the debt for the Mayweather. Nobody's ever brought that up. I think it's crazy. Like, is he ever going to come back? Hell yeah, he going to come back because he going to lose 50 mil. I tell you right now. I don't know who he going to fight or when it's going to be, but he'll come back at least one more fight. He has to. Nobody talks about that.
I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes it's like the Conor thing, like people talk about him because there are stories about him. And then sometimes I think people are like, well, a lot of people just accuse websites or whatever of talking about Conor for clickbait or whatever. So then maybe there's like a Conor fatigue and they don't want to do the story. Like, I don't know. I guess every single day you could write a story about him, right? There's always something going on there. I don't know if I have an answer for you on that one. I really don't know.
Yeah,
but that's a very true fact that nobody's talking about. Like, is he gonna come back? Yeah, we don't know when, but he has to.
When?
Dude not gonna volunteer and give UFC 50 mil and not pay off that debt.
Yeah, you're gonna come back and fight. He's just gonna find the right fight.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. There is some Conor fatigue when literally anytime he tweets, some sites have to throw up an article about it. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, come on now. Like, it's way too much when y'all start doing all that.
Right.
You know, and that does get annoying. Because, I mean, like, yeah, he's still a big star, but literally, like, go follow him on Twitter.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I think I did retweet his thing about the rematch because sometimes it's fun to just sort of like, hey, everybody, this is what, in case you missed it, even though nobody missed it.
Right.
But you're not like picking a side on it. You're like, in other news, this is what's happening. And it's a conversation starter at all times. You know what I mean? And really that's what it is his name starts conversations.
And the match we got to see now, after last pay-per-view, I got to see DC Stipe 3 because I was at the first one and I won $875. Like, literally, I texted DC before. I said, I got you, man. And you know how he is. If you got some support, put some money on it. I literally put $300 when I saw him as a plus 260. And I hauled off. I literally I texted him by slip. And he came on the show because of that, literally. And then this one, I'm surprised that he lost because I won't say his ego, but he said something very striking to us when he was on here. He said he thought Steve Beck had hurt him the first one, and when he couldn't, remember he did the famous shrug.
Right.
We got him out there. I think this time, because he had that mindset and he fought out his strategy. Because to me, they fought in 5 rounds. He's 1/4 of the 5. He's still a better fighter, but we got to do it 3 times so there won't be no controversy. We got to do it again. I know he's talking about hanging it up, but I got to see that one. If he fights one more, I don't need to see John. I need to see him and Stipe.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard, right? Because I agree. Like, he was beating him up a lot. And I remember asking Stipe after the fight, and he's like, oh, yeah, no, he kicked my ass all through that first round and everything. So, yeah, I don't know if it was ego. I mean, it's DC said, like, he abandoned the strategy and he should have taken him down and he didn't take him down. So, you know, what that is, if that's ego or just stubbornness or who knows what, or I want to knock him out again, like, you know. But the third time, I mean, maybe, I guess I want DC. I love DC. I don't like seeing DC risk getting hurt anymore. You know, like I don't like to see any of my friends, like watching Felder and Barboza the other day. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. Like everything changes. You know what I mean? It just changes when I have a different kind of friendship with them and stuff now. So to me, DC has nothing left to prove. And if he wants to ride off into the sunset and be an awesome commentator, like, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with both sides of that argument, honestly.
But yeah, I can see. I mean, look, it's not like I wouldn't watch another fight.
Right. Yeah. Like with me, it's like he said he was going to retire. What? You know,
March.
In March.
On his birthday,
but it's like, all right, he's still fighting, and it's like he's kind of. I don't want to see him get down that slippery slope where fighters just don't know when to call it quits.
Right.
I don't want him to become
I don't think DC. No, he's not gonna be that Evander Holyfield of
No, he still beats a lot of dudes if he wants to keep fighting.
100%. But that's the thing. It's like, okay, well, there's very few fights that still make sense for him.
Right.
And obviously, I think the number one would be the trilogy with Stipe. You know, because
I could see it. I suppose I can see it. But I mean, I don't know how Stipe might be like, look, you guys maybe wait forever for a rematch, so what's the hurry?
Yeah,
I don't know.
The weird thing for me was how quickly everybody, I don't know how much of this you saw, like on your end of things, but from my perspective, I saw a lot of people saying, you know, how quickly they were writing off DC as being like overrated and overhyped and all this kind of crap.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I never understood the hate that DC would get. I just don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense on paper. It doesn't make sense any way you size it up. It doesn't make sense to me, and it never has.
Yeah, it's weird. It's so weird.
The guy's awesome.
100%. 100%. And then they want to say immediately want to crown Stipe as the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Well, we're 1-1, so how can you give him that title?
Right. But Stipe did beat a lot of really good dudes,
100%,
and
100%.
you know, but so did Verdum. So it's like,
it's weird.
You know,
it's weird. I think.
And then when you get to the math of, well, Stipe beat Verdum, but Verdum beat you know what I mean, all that stuff. So
all the MMA math.
Hey, we had a trilogy. All this be out the window though.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right.
But if he did it, if DC said, I'm never fighting the throwing a punch in octagon again, he's definitely clearly top 3, regardless of what metric you look at.
For sure.
So, KB, let me ask you a little bit about some of your adventures in the booth, so to speak. You know which one I'm probably talking about when you had Colby and Kamaru. Colby and Kamaru.
You got your own bodyguard up in there. That was crazy.
I know. That was really fun. We knew it was going to get a little hectic up there and stuff like that. So they had told us we had to sort of. We didn't have to like rehearse it, but you know, they were like, "Hey, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have extra security here. We're going to have them here, there, and everywhere." So yeah, the only thing I was bummed at is like after the fact, I wish I had planted some popcorn under the desk, because like I think it would have been hilarious to just like halfway through, just like pull that out, and Sugar and I just be like, Like I think it would have been hilarious personally. I actually really enjoyed that, and they like none of that was scripted. You know what I mean? Like, how could you? So none of that was scripted. None of that was. I mean, it was planned to have him there, but it wasn't. That was it. It was like, here's what's happening. He's coming. You're going to do an interview. Boom, boom, go. And so, you know, I thought it was entertaining. I don't know. You know, people like who won the thing. I don't know who won. The one thing that was funny to me is. When Colby said, "Oh, you've never knocked anybody out," and I said Sergio Moraes, but like, because it literally just like came to my, I was like, "Oh no, it was Sergio Moraes," and so some people are like, "I can't believe, you know, that's so lame. Like, you got up there and like defended, you know, Kamaru." I was like, I wasn't like like literally, if Kamaru had said, "Who'd you ever knock out?" Like, if the name came up, the name comes up. Like, that's my job, right? Like, I'm supposed to know stuff. It wasn't even
information.
We don't even have a teleprompter, so but anyway, that was a joke. We don't have one. But anyway, like that was just like a natural thing, right? You know what I mean? And I don't think he took offense to it, whatever. Like it was very entertaining, and I think they have the promos for days to build that fight up.
To tell my co-host, he keeps calling Kobe's little bit a gimmick and all this.
Dude,
to me, but when you have a fake belt and you getting real emotion, how fake can it be? Gimmick is WWE. As you said, he's getting some real emotion out of people for doing some real stuff. Like, I've never seen nobody.
Right, but it is a gimmick because Colby wasn't that guy 2 years ago or whatever.
Kendrick doesn't understand the definition of a gimmick. That's all it is.
The first few times I interviewed him, he wasn't that guy. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it was clearly a decision to become this
100%.
person more. That's all. And I think that's I don't think anybody's.
Yeah, like I've interviewed him. I interviewed him before the Max Griffin fight, and he was a regular down-to-earth dude, but confident. He was still confident, 100%. For
sure.
But he wasn't MAGA hat. I'm gonna have these one-liners ready. I'm not gonna, like, sunglasses on indoors, talking trash. I'm gonna wear a belt that I don't
That's what trips me out the belt. It's like, how does he get away with the belt? So it's like, Dana and them must be cool with it, so it must be legit. The belt trips me out.
Well, but anybody can get a replica belt, and people were like, well, that's not even the belt anymore because he was walking around with like the old version or whatever. I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't know. Like,
it's still not my favorite.
I think it's funny.
Stuff that's ridiculous. You're like, all right, whatever. Whatever.
It's still not my favorite fake belt that you're carrying somewhere. Like, I don't know how many people remember this, but Derrick Lewis brought his own fake belt to a press conference one time. And the funny thing was, it was like the little mini child's one that he brought to a press conference. That was my favorite fake belt moment right there.
He's okay. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Man, Black Beast. I want to see him back in action.
Yeah,
Dang.
He's good.
Yeah. But yeah, was there, where did I hear? I think I heard there was somebody under the desk during that whole moment too.
Well,
Security?
They said there was going to be somebody under the desk.
So
they
wasn't
ended up just
anybody.
being on the sides of it.
Okay.
And then you saw Security Steve was like around Kamaru's waist and stuff like that. But we definitely had a lot of extra people and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I forget where I heard that, but I was like, I got to make sure that was.
Yeah, no, we were told we might have some down there, but we ended up that we didn't need any underneath there. Yeah.
I know you have a great eye for journalism and like videos. Hey, be on the lookout when John fights Corey. We did that interview with Corey when he stabbed back at John. That was us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That'll be good. So, yeah, I mean, if that's what's next, did they make that official? No,
they didn't make that official. We don't know who John's gonna fight next. That's a question. John kind of fell up in the cut with all his extra craziness.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but everybody's always wants to know what he's doing. So,
and what do you think about 244 that just got announced yesterday? We had Mike Brown on, and the crazy thing is he told us about Jorge what he did to Askren. He said he told him an hour before the fight, and he's kind of like, yeah, right, He said I look at him, and he's got his hands behind his back like he told me. I'm like, he's gonna fucking go for it. And then he said when he does it, he said I still can't believe it. It was like 2 weeks after the fight that he pulled that off.
Yeah, no, I love it. Like, I think that's going to be a very entertaining fight. Like, I hate that it's like it is two of the baddest like it literally is the two coolest dudes. Like, I hate that one has to get canceled out. You know what I mean, or whatever. Not canceled out, but you know what I mean. I think Masvidal's amazing. Always liked him, and got to know him more when we did that tough season of Black Zillions versus ATT, and so he would come to the studio sometimes and stuff. I'm like, he's just a cool ass dude. Like, he's just cool. And I've known Nick since like 2007, so always been cool with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just I love the fight from a fan standpoint, but like I don't want to see either of those dudes lose. But I love that Nate's just staying active now. Like, if we can just keep him busy, I love that.
100%. Yeah. No. I don't know if you know the answer to this. I probably should have looked this up beforehand. But what was the last non-title pay-per-view fight besides a Conor fight? Like in a main event on a pay-per-view. I probably should have looked that up. But I know.
Well, on a pay-per-view. Yeah, on a pay-per-view. It only would have been if it was like something fell out, right? And like all of a sudden a co-main is a main or something, right? Like, because
I can't even think back to when.
I can't remember, dude. Like, half the time I'm like, what city am I in? I'm literally so close to Hello Cleveland. Like, there are times that I'm literally like, I don't know where I just was last weekend. I'm not complaining about it. I think it's awesome, but like, I literally then sometimes when I'm reviewing fights for the next, go around and I'm rewatching stuff, and I'm like, oh shoot, I was there. Yeah,
right. No, I guess that does speak to the larger thing though. Like, that just shows how much they're trying to capitalize on this, because we can't immediately recall the last non-title fight that wasn't a Conor McGregor Nate Diaz fight.
Pay-per-views, they always want to make them extra important. Those are superstars, so that's important enough. I mean, that's better than an interim title for the sake of a title fight. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's one of those things that we've been, at least not a lot of people, but I see it online all the time, like where people are like, every pay-per-view main event doesn't have to be a title fight, guys. Like, at UFC,
right. How much is good fights? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm glad.
Because sometimes there's a title fight and the challenger isn't really ready or something, or yeah.
Yeah. What do you think if they made like some special, like actually made some hardware for this? You know, like how the WBC does in boxing,
That'd be
where they do
pretty
like their
cool.
special belts for like
The BMF
fights?
belt. Yeah.
Is they really doing that?
I don't know, but that would be cool.
Because like the WBC will have like because you know I go like to Canelo fights, like they'll have a Cinco de Mayo belt. And it's like 20. It's not no bullshit belt either. It's like $25,000 belt. It's like legit.
I feel like just like a rope, you know, like a chain or like a pendant with BMF on it with like a lot of ice around it. And, you know, that would be.
Yeah, that would be the way to go right there. I like that idea. Just
Yeah,
do something.
because they're not really going to wear a belt, but one of those dudes would wear that dope-ass rope.
Right. Yeah. I think the problem is, though, if they actually create hardware, then people are going to be
I know, they can't.
They would be like, no, you got to bring that out. I want that, you know.
Right.
It would be dope, though. It would be some little extra to add to it. Yeah, it'd be dope. It'd be dope. I do love the fight, though. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be exciting.
Oh, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. When is you said your next excitement is where again?
Mexico City. So that's Yair Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens. That one's really cool. And then I'm going to Copenhagen later in the month.
That's dope.
That's cool. The travels of KB.
Right. How quickly, like, immediately after an event, like when you're traveling week to week to week, like, do you give yourself a day off before you start prepping for the next one, or is it like, all right, as soon as I take up the headset, I'm already thinking about the next one?
Yeah, no, I give myself a little bit of a break. And a lot of time watching fights while you're like unpacking one suitcase or packing the other one and stuff like that. So, you know, 'cause sometimes I'll have them back to back, you know, so that'll be that back to back and stuff. But, yeah, you know, and also there's a lot of time on the fly, you know? Sometimes depending if you're going a really long way, you got a lot of time to watch some fights and, you know, and do your stuff. So, a lot of time I start collecting it around, I don't usually do too much of the week on the Monday. But then, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm doing more of that and collecting all that stuff. And then Thursday is when I'm like writing the script more. And that could be while I'm traveling, and all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
A lot of preparation goes into it. A lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
You make it look easy.
Well, thank you.
But besides
It's not.
the best journalist in the game, we call you the hardest working woman in MMA today.
Oh, thanks. I try.
Well, Karyn, we appreciate your time as always. Always fun catching up with you. Keep up the fantastic work.
Appreciate your time as always. We know you're a busy lady.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me on. It's good to see you.
100%.
Thanks, Karyn.
Appreciate you.
Please welcome to the Slip and Dip podcast, making a Slip and Dip debut, WBC Super Middleweight Champion, two-time WBC Super Middleweight Champion, Anthony Dirrell, who on September 28th will be taking on David Benavidez. Thanks for joining the show. Us on the show, brother. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. I can't complain.
Well, so where's your mindset at? For you to be the champion, a lot of people act like you an old lion that's going to be put out the pasture. Is that bothering you or does that motivate you?
No, it don't bother me, man. It you know, when we get in that ring, we'll see, man. It you know, that just make me work harder, basically. When it comes to the gym, you know, everybody doubts me, everybody go against me, and you know, I'll prove everybody wrong on the 28th.
What threats does he possesses besides his power? We know he's known as a knockout artist, but do you see any flaws in his game or something that take him deep with him being so young and you have an experience factor on your side?
I think experience does play a big part. People don't realize I can hit too. That's why I don't understand. Like, we know David has been knocked down before with the jab, so. You know, you get hit by a couple of my punches, you'll feel that he'll start to respect me, and that's when the experience comes to play a part.
Absolutely. And do you pay attention to things like, you know, we kind of mentioned how everybody's, you know, already writing you off. Do you pay attention to, like, the betting lines and stuff like that?
No, that's just people betting. Like I say, it's people going against me. But I am putting money on myself.
That'd be a nice comeback, man. That'd be a nice comeback. They got you at plus 500, which is a crazy line.
I'm definitely putting money on myself, man. I just know what I have, man. And like I say, he is still green on at the end of the day. He's 22 years old. Mm-hmm. I've been boxing longer than he's been born. I have more experience, and that's going to show on a 28. He might have power, but people cope with power. A whole bunch of people got power, but you can't knock everybody out. As we've seen with the 2 fights with him and Ronald Gabriel, you can't knock everybody out. So you get in there with experienced fighters, it's a totally different story. Yeah, you can knock out everybody that you fought, the bums that you fought, but when you get in there with an experienced guy, especially like me, it's going to be a different story.
What you learned from the Dirrell fight, from the first and the second one, because he definitely he looked better in the second one, but what do you think about that?
I mean, I think he gets hit a lot. Even in the Jalen fight, he got hit, with stuff that, for everybody to say he's the best or whatnot, that he got hit with. I mean, if you go back and look, like I say, for the short time of the Jalen Love fight happened, he got hit with some things. I mean, we'll capitalize on that. We're working on a game plan that's definitely going to beat him.
Got you. And of course, you focus on Benavidez, but can you give some insight to your take on the stake of your division at 168? Because it got you got Benavidez, you got Caleb Plant, you got a lot of hungry dogs out there want to see who is the best at 168. What's your take on the state of your division right now?
I mean, it's a good division. It's definitely, I think, one of the best divisions. You got heavyweight, you got welterweight. I think them and super middleweight. I think them 3 divisions is definitely at the top right now with the division wise, with a lot of boxers in it. That's that want to fight each other. But like I said, I'm focused on David Benavidez, obviously, and after that we'll go from there.
How excited are you the fact that you be on that Fox pay-per-view, the co-main in the Spence and Porter fight at Staples? Is that a big deal to you, or just another day in the office?
No, I mean, it's definitely a big deal. I mean, you got, a lot of people watching the fight. It's a big stage. It's a pay-per-view. Every boxer's dream is definitely to fight on pay-per-view. Even if it's main event, co-main event, you want to fight on that. And I got my opportunity to showcase my talent, They say this guy is the boogeyman of the division. I'm the Ghostbusters. I'm coming to put him in a trap. So, like I said, I'm going to be ready for it.
I like it, man. I like it. Yeah. And it's a hell of a card. I mean, it's very rare in boxing that we see, cards stacked like this. So I think a lot of people would be tuning in. What do you make of the main event? Who do you have in that?
Who I have in the main event?
Yeah. Between Spence and Porter.
I got Spence, man. Honestly, he's a more polished fighter. He's a boxer. I think he's stronger, and I think he'll put on a dominant performance on the 28 too.
Okay.
Would you be the better than being in some tense situations and stuff? And we both know you and your brother and your family about that life. Are you expecting any antics from Benavidez during fight week? Because we were at the Love fight and saw all the antics leading up to that fight here in Dallas.
I mean, it's David. I think he knows what he has in front of him. You can look at his past fights and know that he respects me a lot more because I'm the best fighter he's going to fight to date. So, you can tell even by his attitude, even leading up to the fight, he's not doing a lot of talking, and that just gives me the edge right there. So, like I say, man, on the 28th, all talk is over.
Yeah, we had him on the show last week, and he was talking about how there's not necessarily animosity between you two guys, but that's something that he was saying that it's something that if it was there would fuel him more. Is that the same with you? Like if there's animosity between you guys, would that give you more fuel to go out there and make a statement?
I mean, I got the fuel. I got all the fuel I need. It's a guy in there trying to take what belongs to me. And I got to stop him from doing that. And he's basically in there trying to kill me. So I definitely got to stop that and do some countering on that, and I plan to.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not to be a Debbie Downer, but what did you learn from your loss to Badu? Because it seems like you've been a different fighter since then. Like in a weird way, it's like that loss was you turned into a positive.
I didn't lose to Badu.
Yeah.
So I didn't lose to him. Man. You got to understand, man. There's a lot of critics in this that do a lot of stuff and say a lot of stuff, but how many times have you seen a boxer lose their championship off a majority decision? Like it's rare. Like you don't see that. You don't give a fighter just off who he's with or what he got. You know what I'm saying? You got to earn a championship, and I don't feel he earned it. I don't think he won enough rounds to beat me, man. But like I said, it's water under the bridge. I respect Badu, all my respect, man. He's still a good friend, but I still don't think he beat me that night. But like I say, it's no excuses. He got the victory. That's in the past. I still have a loss on my record. So he won, basically. But like I said, I don't feel it.
How big a deal is to get official title defense on your record, since that was your first title defense and you had all that craziness? Is that an extra motivating factor, knowing that you've been in the same position and things didn't go your way, or that's because like you just said, water under the bridge?
No, it's water under the bridge. I mean, you can't keep living in the past, and I think that's what some people do. You know, I don't. I live in the future. You know, this is another fight for the championship that I have. So. And I expect to defend that championship.
Would you surprise? Would it be a surprise if we saw you get into a Mexican style fight with Benavidez? Or are you gonna be basically be your regular self, be slick and patient, and just try to outbox him, even if it's not an entertaining fight? At the end of the day, are you focus on getting the dub, or are you focus on putting on a show?
I mean, it just all depends. It just all depends on what's there. I can make adjustments. That's the thing about, you know, me and my team. You know, we make adjustments. We don't work on plan A and just stick to that. We plan A, plan B, plan C. If we need plan E, D, all that, and we go from there. But we don't just do one thing. You got to do multiple things in the gym to put you on that elite level. And that's what and I plan on showing that on the 28th.
Gotcha. So this is gonna be your second fight this year, and you haven't had three in a calendar year since 2011. Is that like a conscious thing to where you guys try to just have 1 and 2 fights a year, or what?
You said I haven't had a fight since when?
You haven't had 3 fights in a calendar year since 2011, or I'm sorry, 2013. 2013.
You gotta ask yourself how many fighters have had 3 fights in a year in this day and age now. But like top ranked fighters do, but it's not a lot of PBC fighters that does. I mean, Errol Spence having a lot of fights in the calendar month. Sean Porter hasn't had a lot of fights in the calendar month. I mean, it just is what it is. I think people try to preserve their body because they know the wear and tear on, especially after a fight. Mm-hmm. As of the magnitude that we go through, back then it was a little different. You can fight a few times. I mean, a lot of times a year. But now it's a new day and age. People eat different things. People drink different things and make that that makes you stronger or something like that. It's just different. It's a new day and age, and you have to keep up with the day and age. You can't stay in the past.
So you actually prefer it that way?
I'd rather fight, but I got a family, man, and that's the hard part, leaving my family. Some people stay at home. I can't stay at home. I need to be stress free. I need to be distraction free, and I need to work on myself. So, and that's what I figured out is best for me. So that's what I've been doing, and. Two fights a year, I think it's enough because you gotta understand I'm going 4 months out the year then. So I think that's enough. I don't think I need to be away from my family that long. It was sometime, like you say, it was 3 back in, I forgot when.
2013.
That's 6 months going away. That's 6 months going away from my family. That's half a year. I can't do that, man. Not now.
Gotcha.
For sure. And in the like when you go into training camps, are you one of the fighters that you need to be away from the family? Like you have to get secluded to really get focused on the task at hand?
No, I don't need it. I trained in Detroit before. That's an hour from where I stay at, and I was fine. Training there. I get to see my family when I wanted to, but I think it's just a little better, especially the magnitude fight that this is. I think it's a little bit better. You can stay focused and you can just think boxing. Mm-hmm. And I think with this fight, that's what I need.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, man.
Do you think that a lot of people have basically overhyped Benavidez? You think he's a hype job, or you think he's ahead of his time? Like he's gonna be a good fighter, just not September 28th.
No, I think he's good. I think he wouldn't be in the position that he's in. He wouldn't have been champion. I think he's good, but I still don't think he fought the opposition that I have faced or fought, tough opposition. Like I say, Ronald Gabriel went the distance twice with him, and everybody else he knocks out, but that was the plan. Like, that was the plan to knock them out. Look at the guys that he knocked out. Porky, he's nothing. He's easy. I think that was his best notable win. And like I say, it is what it is. Styles make fights at the end of the day, and on the 28th, we'll figure it out.
So how excited are you to take him into deep water, since we haven't really seen that with Benavidez?
But we did. We're great. Ronald Gabriel, he dropped him in the 12th with a jab. Like I said again, he dropped him in the 12th with a jab. So, like I say, David is a fighter. I'm not taking nothing away from the boy, but I'm a whole different animal. I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm from a way tougher place. I live, bleed this, man. This is not something that I just do. Like, I've been doing this for almost 26 years, so this is just not something I picked up just cause I do this, man.
Do you feel any extra pressure to go out there and kind of steal the show, so to speak, because this is such a big card? Like, this is a fight that obviously could headline any other show. But
and you know what thing about that? I don't think we're getting the attention that we need. This, like you say, this is definitely a headliner. But with Spence and Porter, that's definitely a bigger headliner, and I don't think we're getting, the attention we need for this fight. This is a big fight. Everybody's been wanting to see this fight for a long time, and it's happening. And now that we're under the card, and I'm happy to be. I'm fine with that. As long as I get the fight, I'm cool. But we're still not getting the attention I think that we need with this fight.
If before you get you up out of here, give us a couple of reasons on why you will be and still WBC super middleweight champion of the world 3 weeks from now.
Because the belt is mine. This belt is going home with me. The belt stays home. The belt, I work way too hard. I'm smarter with this game. I know I'm better. And September 28th, we'll see.
Well, Anthony, man, we appreciate the time, brother. We definitely enjoyed the interview and look forward to seeing you go to work, man.
I'll be out there in LA, man. I'll definitely holler at you. I'll be out there all fight week with y'all.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate your time, man.
No doubt.
Please welcome to the Slip of Dip Podcast. Return to the show. One of the best trainers in the boxing game today. He'll be in Errol Spence Corner September 28th for the Spence Porter Unification Mega Fight. Mr. Derrick James. It's good to be in Team Spence. Y'all everywhere, man. Saw y'all on the tube today at the Cowboy game. How's it good to take in that big dub?
Hey, man, it was good, man. You see, that's what promotions and promoters do. They put you out there like that. You know what I mean? They put you out there, they market you, they promote you as they supposed to do. you know, and everybody promoter don't do that, but you know, I'm saying our people take care of us.
That's good. How excited are you the fact that this is like another stage for y'all team, you and Earl, because y'all like a package deal to show that y'all the best in the 147 division. Because a lot of people are like last time you had a lot of doubts. Now people are saying, "Oh, they can't do it again." How much motivation y'all hear from all these critics out there? Cause I know y'all be listening and hearing.
No, I never heard anything. I don't be on the internet, man. I don't be on the internet like that. I don't look at YouTube posts. I don't look at any of that stuff. I work 7 days a week, bro. Got 3 jobs. I don't have time for that. I'm in the gym. I have a job in the morning. I train people at their house. So it's kind of like I don't keep up with it. I'm working. I'm busy.
Mm. I feel you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of it's just noise, as you know from people that don't really know what's going on. But you know, obviously, like this is a big card, man. It's very rare that we see boxing cards this stacked. You know, and I'm assuming that you guys are expecting big turnouts, big numbers, and things like that from this fight as well, right?
Come on, man. That's what we've been putting up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, unlike other fighters who claim to be the best fighters, pound for pound fighters in the world, they're not putting up numbers like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so you just gotta, we happy, man. We're looking forward to it, you know?
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've seen, you know, I guess I will kind of mention some of the comments that we just talked about, though. But one of the things I've seen around is like every time I see you guys posting up pictures, whether it be from the game today, you know, on the field with the Cowboys or whatever have you, like the number one comment I see is like, "Oh, Errol's looking real fit this time, like he hasn't before in other fights." Like it's kind of weird that seems to be the focus of how good he's looking leading up to the fight, just appearance wise.
I think people try to find many ways to critique him, and maybe they forgot. People have very short memories. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people say that this fight will solidify Errol as a bona fide whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people have short memories.
Yeah, I mean, but do you really believe that though? Because you know, if he goes out there, even if he finishes Porter, people still gonna be like, "Well, you got to do it to Pacquiao now."
Well, I think that this, for me, in my perspective, is that I think that this will be the separation fight. And what I mean by that is, if you go back and look at every one of Sean Porter fights with Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Pacquiao and Thurman, Danny Garcia and Thurman, I mean, all those guys, and even with Ugas, they all fought real close fights. They really kind of like even pick 'em fight. All the decisions were kind of like picking decisions. I think that what this fight for me is like a separation fight to show where we are, you know, and like to separate us from the pack because every one of them are basically on the same level. They all fight. You know what I mean? They all each one of those fights could have went either way. And so I think that this one would be a little different. You know what I mean? This would be a separation fight for me.
How big a deal is to have this fight right after the big fight up here in your backyard, in our backyard up in Dallas? All the fight week hoopla and stuff like that. Y'all got to go through that here in your own backyard. How much do you think that's going to come into play with it being on the West Coast? But it's going to be another hype atmosphere with everybody want to come and be seen, from all the fighters to the stars and all that. How much you think going through that experience for the Mikey fight will help you for fight week this week coming up?
I think it was a great segue into something like this. You know what I mean? Like you building your brand. Everything is strategically done from them fighting New York to Florida to Texas, to San Antonio twice, to Dallas 3 times. So everything is a maturation and build up to what Errol is. I mean, and so this it's like it's amazing because it's the build up, man. You take him to Hollywood and give it to him. All the movie stars, everybody want to come to the fight. It's great though. You know what I mean? Because it's the build up. It's like the way they did it, took him to Europe, sell 30,000 from Canada, fought all over the States. So it's like each fight is strategically done, man. And so it's like, it's strategically promoted. And this is a big one because this is going to be really big also at the Staples Center. And I think it's going to be great.
Leading this fight, Coach, y'all got the little mini press tour, and you got the big press conference on the day of the Pacquiao Thurman fight. Are you expecting anything crazy after the Porters? Because they seem to be kind of pulling old school tricks out the playbook with crazy poems and bringing in their crew locally to the press conference. It's like they're not trying to hourly needle y'all, but they're trying to needle y'all with little mind games. Does that bother you?
Mind games only work with simpletons. But I think that I don't. I mean, I just think they're being themselves. I mean, if they trying to play us or whatever, I don't know. I mean, we're just two country guys from Texas, man. I don't really care about all this stuff. Had nothing to do with boxing. Those fans remember this is the same thing I told Kell Brook. Eddie Hearn kept saying, the biggest issue y'all gonna have is those 30,000 people. I said that neither one of them throwing punches. So I let the peanut group of guys, whoever it is they bring to the fight, making noise. It has nothing to do with Sean. I mean, it had nothing to do with Sean Porter. That's what you gotta understand. So it doesn't matter. You can't help him in the ring. So it doesn't matter. I mean, they can't protect him. None of that. So, yeah, man. They're trying to play the game, but it's not a game to be played, man.
How much are you excited? I know you low key, but you internally get excited and you talk about it afterwards. But how much are you excited to be in this chess match with Kenny? Because I think a lot of people are overlooking the fact that he makes good adjustments fight to fight when you make adjustments inside the fight on fight night to win the fight. Do you think people are overlooking that factor if you look at both of y'all track records and histories?
Hey man, I trademarked something I said on my greatest competition. So I'm not really focused on Kenny Porter. You know what I mean? He may make adjustments, but I don't. I just look at it like this. You have to make adjustments when you're doing something wrong. So that's when you make adjustments, or when some guy's getting the best of you or whatever. So we have not had to make adjustments. So, you think about that. What about the fact that a guy has the ability to make adjustments and he's fighting a guy who hasn't had to make any adjustments? And we fought the guy that beat you. You just picked up the pace, pushed the pedal to the metal and, pressed him out. So, I mean, Kenny Porter is good at what he does, man. They made it to this level. He's a 2-time world champ. I mean, what else I'm going to say? I mean, you can't say anything bad about the guy.
But did you see Sean was training with David Benavidez?
I saw that. I heard it. I saw it on it was a fight, so it must have been a large fight. They showed a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you usually don't, or I don't know. Do you have Errol training with bigger guys usually?
Yeah, we do. We got heavyweight. He's forward heavyweight all the time.
Oh yeah,
I'm in the gym for that. I already know that answer to that. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Forward heavyweight.
It sure do. It be putting in work.
Yeah. It's for heavyweights.
So I guess that's the way to do it. Get used to that way. You don't have to worry about power.
Well, that's not. We do it because that's one of the only people at that size can endure those body shots and those punches. So you know what I'm saying? Like a smaller guy can't endure those punches consistently.
Gotcha.
So we do it for, other guys can't go the rounds. He has to back up off of them, but he can't push himself the way he wants to if he's smaller guy's size. The guy generally can't take it.
Okay.
I know you don't be watching videos like you just said, but I know you've heard about Sean and Earl's PBC showdown. Do you think that your fighter made a good account for himself? Because it got pretty testy there. You got Sean said when you come on my show, you said that you didn't want to get rid of Mikey Garcia, but you say you're supposed to be this killer. So what are you? And then, and then Earl also let it be known he never, because I remember y'all never did. I'm saying y'all I'm not talking about knocking out Mikey, so I didn't know y'all had a point to prove. This time he's talking about knocking out Sean though. So is that huh?
Well, it's like I saw that thing. I mean, the face whatever it's called, and I think Earl he shut him down. I mean. Because it was longer. He shut them down where they didn't have anything to say, no questions to ask. And, he just, a lot of, it cut some of it off. Like the goods were cut off because he shut them down to where Sean was like, he said he said some stuff. He was like, Errol's looking at me like he knows everything he needs to know about me. Plus they sport many rounds, man. It's like they're not unfamiliar with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know each other. They're familiar with each other.
So let me ask you, let's switch gears for a second on you. I know you guys were at the, at least I saw you at the Virgil Ortiz fight here not too long ago in Grand Prairie. He's another guy, represent DFW, same weight class. What did you think of his performance that night?
Hey, man, I think he did good. I mean, the guy was a really smaller guy. I mean, he's like a real small guy, but he did well. I mean, I think that, he did well. I mean, I don't know what to say,
Yeah. I kind of wanted to lead into more so to get this question off because you experienced, from at least what I found out on social media, the same thing me and Kendrick had to go through. We had trouble getting in the building. So I saw that. So what was going on with that?
What, at the fights?
Yeah.
We had trouble getting in the building.
I saw y'all got stopped like on the way in. Somebody was posting that up, or was that really what it was?
No, they needed to see what it is.
Oh, okay.
Errol had 3 tickets inside the technical zone, right?
Yeah.
But it was 4 people. So
Okay.
he's like, I'm not gonna go to the technical zone and leave my person out.
Okay.
So he was trying to get one more ticket for the technical zone, and when we couldn't get one more ticket for that area, I called my guy and we sat in the suites. So see, it was like he that type of guy who ain't gonna leave his people out.
Got you. Okay. So I just wanted to get that cleared up because I was like, man, that's crazy if y'all were having trouble getting in because they wanted to act like we didn't have our name on the credential list for a minute. So we had issues getting in the building.
Yeah, no, it was a dude that was holding his people down. He was like, if they don't go, I'm not going.
All right, fair enough.
So why do you and Earl get the win? And if y'all do get the stop, how satisfying would that be? Would that be more satisfying than when y'all stop Kale to get the belt, or is it just another day at the office for Team Spence?
I think that this is every fight is significant. Every fight is you're happy about winning. I think that this one is one that's been long overdue. Like Kell Brook was a fight that was like, okay, I didn't know who he was. I had seen him fight one time. I don't know how I saw him fight, but I saw him fight one time before. So I wasn't familiar with him until it was time to fight him. But I know Sean. I've known him for years. But we ain't like hanging out. But I know who he is, and I know him. I mean, ain't nothing funny, man. I'm being honest. Like we ain't never just hung out, and just kicked it, but we've been around each other with the PBC, and I didn't know him from the amateur, but I'd heard about him. I heard of him, And but when Errol was getting ready for the Olympic team, his dad was one of those coaches that were up there. And then and Sean was just sparring with him, so wasn't no big deal. But this will be a fight that has been brewing for many years. I mean, so I'm happy about it.
So it's personal.
What?
It's a little bit
Nah,
personal.
nah, man. I mean, nah. I put it like this: every fight is personal when you think about it, from the perspective of you work very hard for years, your whole life to become a champion, and somebody's trying to take what you earned. So I mean, but it's personal in the fact that he ain't like trying to see my wife and nothing. That's personal. This is just what it is. I mean, ain't nothing like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not so personal where you want to fight somebody. Personal to where you want to win. But you know the guy. Like, I know him. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Gotcha. What about this narrative that Kenny be throwing out that he had a hand in getting Earl the way he was? He knew he was going to be. He trained him in the amateurs, and he knew a lot.
Stop. So, okay, first of all, I grew up boxing on the USA boxing team also. Those coaches have little to no input on what those fighters do. All right? They don't teach them nothing. They don't train them nothing. Because they only with him for like 3 weeks at a time. And if Kenny was with him for, whatever, he'd been on some trips with him. Like when I fought, we are the national team coach with Pat Nappy, who was with Sugar Ray Leonard in his corner when he won a gold medal, with all those guys, and so he was with USA boxing team for a long time. So now he got other guys, other people doing whatever they do, but he's overstating his position. Okay, I worked with many coaches. I went to the World Championship, Junior World Championship, fought international and USA, but those coaches, like we found, like when you go to those training camps, a lot of those coaches don't know what the hell they doing. So you cannot put it like this. This is what I gotta say. So if he had so much impact, how does Earl Spence fight like Sean Porter?
No.
So how did he train him? So how much impact did he have on him? Huh? Listen, you know what I mean? We had a national team coach, Pat Nack, would never say, "Oh, I trained there." No, you ain't gonna say that. He conducted the training camps. He had the strategy and formula for us to use. So come on, man. That's an overstated situation. Because listen, if I was a fighter who never fought on the U.S. national team, then I would hold it. Maybe so. But I was on the team. I know that those coaches have little to no impact on what the fighters do. They put in mouthpieces, put the bucket up, put what? I mean, they hold a minute. It's only so much they can do because you're with the kids for 3 weeks. Training camp 3 weeks, maybe 4. So what can you do? I'm just saying. So I mean, it's an overstated situation. I mean, you know him, you're familiar with him. I'm familiar with the coaches that went to training camp with us. I like the guy. We had a good time. But damn, I mean, it's like saying Israel Akasu was the trainer when I fought and went to the World Championship with me. He worked with Errol also. He ain't run around telling people he trained him. Come on, man, that's some shit. Israel, he ain't telling nobody he trained me either. You know what I'm saying? Israel Acosta, he fought in the 84 Olympic trials, lost to Paul Gonzalez. And that's what's funny about it. Like that guy was with me and Al. He ain't going around telling people that. But go ahead, man.
Hey, had to clear it up, man. Had to clear it up.
You interjecting yourself in a situation. I mean, you work with him. Yeah, I was at the camp. I conducted the camp. That's what you say. I trained on. Come on, man. That's some BS. But look, I've been in training camp many times, and I can tell you, any one of the fighters like because we got like a USA boxing little group on Facebook. Any one of them dudes can tell you those trainers are little to know, and most of the time they teasing the trainers. They don't know nothing about boxing.
Yeah, man. I see you definitely. I take that a little personally, but I mean, hey.
No, I didn't take that personal. No, man, I'm just telling. Like
just clearing it up.
When you get clarity to a situation,
Yeah,
it's not because you're taking it personal.
Gotcha.
Because I have personal experience with. I mean, I fought on the national team. I wore the uniform and all this, so I know. Well, I mean, come on, man.
Well, we appreciate the clarity. Clearing that up for us. So I know I talked to you in the tunnel for just a second after the after the last fight at Jerry World, and you said you were a little like you're happy with the win, but you did want to see the stoppage. So what do you want to see out of this one against Sean Porter?
I mean, I want to see Errol go out there and do his thing. I mean, I want to see him. It's one thing to win, but it's one thing to win the way you trained, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm looking for a good fight, a great fight. No, Sean. Sean's the type of fighter who can make fighters look bad, right? But I mean, none of the fighters he's fought who are as good as Errol is. Not as technically sound as Errol is. Not put the punches together as good as Errol does. None of them punch as hard as Errol does. So what happens is, what you'll see is, if you think about it, all these other top guys, everybody who they fought, he had the common opposition. Errol knocks all of them out. From when Pacquiao fought Chris Algieri, Errol knocks him out. All right. When Porter fought Kell Brook and Phil Greco, Errol knocked both of them out. I mean, the guy Leonard Bundu that Keith Thurman won 12 rounds with, Errol knocked him out. So it's like, this is, like I said, the separation fight. You know what I mean? It's like, you look for a rough, rugged fight, because that's what I expect. What else can he do? I mean, 5'6", fighting a guy 5'9", 5'10".
You expect a dirty fight?
No, you know what? I don't think. I watched him fight. I don't think he's a dirty fighter. I just think he doesn't care if he headbutts you or elbows you or not. See what I'm saying? So if it happens, it happens. I don't think he is intentionally doing it, because I watched him. But he's like, if it happens, it happens. So see, that's my thing about it. So but I think it's gonna be a rough, rugged fight, you know, and you'll see a lot of rotation in the punches.
Okay.
A lot of rotation, if you look at the fight, when all the fights, you see a lot of rotation. Maybe Kell Brook, a lot of rotation. Chris Algieri, a lot of rotation in the bundle. Look at those last punches you throw. A lot of rotation in punches. So that's where you get the knockout, with the rotation, putting your body behind the punch. So you'll see a lot of that.